Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, we defeated the ultimate evil once and for all. I almost said before for some reason. I mean, we did do it before, but this time, for realsies, we have defeated the ultimate evil, and now we're getting the good ending. As a reminder, we're in New Game Plus right now, and during the first run, I got the normal ending because I got that last challenge wrong. Now we're going to see the good ending. So, you're really certain about this, Dusk? Yeah, I mean, we'll never see you again, nor will you ever again see your entire family. You'll be leaving everyone you've ever known or loved in all of your 21 years of life behind. Forever. Dusk says with a sigh, "Yes, I know. It is not an easy decision, please believe me. I wish it did not mean leaving everyone in my earthly life behind like this. But this world is my home now." I gotta say, when these characters pace back and forth in this game, it always looks kind of awkward, but that might just be because RPG Maker 1. When I saw her say goodbye to me with such a look on her face that day in Sibilhan, for what would surely be the last time in our entire lives, I just knew in my heart that I would not let it end that way. My home is with Sarah. I'm sure they will all welcome you to Kalinka, man. I only wish that we ourselves had the time to come and say goodbye to them, and everyone else we've met in Alvenia. That's my only regret. I'm curious why we don't have time to say goodbye to everyone. Are we really in a rush to give the earrings back to Serena? Well, here's one to a man we've known all these years as both brother and homeboy, who never let go of that sword at his side in even the most trying of times. Don't ever forget the good old days with us, alright? How can I? There's too many great memories attached to that previous life. But I must leave behind the pepperoni pizza, the nightly video game marathons, and the college exams, that so defined my life these last many years if I am to become the newest resident of Alvenia. Admittedly, one of those things he will probably not miss as much. I guess, like the person the four of us knew as Joshua, I, too, stumbled upon Alvenia and became a changed man. Only in the so doing I arrived at an opposite truth from him. May we all four of us persevere in carrying that very truth on in each of our hearts as we continue on our individual paths from this day forward. I'm sure Serena will help us in doing just that. Michiru, Chermes, Ares, Priyan, this is goodbye. I know we'll see each other again someday. All four guardian angels wave. Goodbye, earthling children! That was a nice touch to not have the teleport disappear immediately. Gave him a chance to just think there, realizing that he had one more chance to go back home to Earth. Chermy solemnly says, "And the rest is silence." Boy, I hope not. That would be a boring ending. Miss Ares, your sisters are departed. Why have you not gone with them? You can no longer concern yourself with me alone now that we have accomplished our purpose in saving Elvinia together. Oh yeah, that's right. Wait. Actually, I was thinking of somebody else. Oh yeah, that's right. Jersey. Jersey went to Earth along with the rest of the heroes in the normal ending. You are right, Dusk. Long goodbyes never are necessary. It does no good to prolong the sorrow of it all. But perhaps you would be grateful for my company until you arrive at Kalinka for the last time? I would, actually. Thank you. I was actually kind of thrown off because Ares and Jersey use similar sprites. Well, they're all gone now. Tessera, Sarah, the Admiral, all of my fellow Narakan knights. Well, this got depressing. I guess we skipped some time in the future. I'm all on my own again. I wonder if I should leave everyone in Subalhan behind again, too. Even if this town is the origin of all the memories of my earliest life, maybe. I should not try to cling to those memories. With everyone in my present life now gone, perhaps going back to wandering Elvinia really is best, and is what I was meant to do all my life. Okay, I know it would be sad to remember the people who passed, especially if you're someone who lives like hundreds of years, such as Boles. But, no, don't forget them. Getting too attached to any one person or place just brings loneliness in the end for some people. I mean, I can understand that, but still. Sigh. But Elvinia is saved. There's nothing left to fight for anymore. I am satisfied with that. Tessera, I don't know how I am going to get along without you, though. No matter how long I wonder and try to forget. Wait. Were you saying they were gone as in dead, or gone as in everybody's gone home? I'm suddenly thinking it's the latter. Because a familiar elfin voice says, "Nor I you, Sir Boles." Okay, next time you say that they're all gone, don't say it while looking at tombstones. Boles says softly in awe, Tessera. Tessera humbly says, "Mr. Boles, I have missed you so. Since we parted ways a month ago at this very site, what I feared most as I confronted my inner demons in the presence of Elowind and the Dark Lord themselves was not myself, but that I would never see you again." Tessera finishes, "At least in this life, long enough to tell you how much I care." Boles is surprised. "Lass, surely you don't mean to say..." Tessera earnestly says, "Sir Boles, please, come back with me to the Elven City. I promise my grandfather, brother, and the other people of Iski will all welcome you warmly. Or I'll come along with you as you wander the world. All I know is that I want to stay at your side, no matter where you go, sir." Tessera, did you somehow figure out, all this time we had been thrown into each other's lives, that I had come to fall wildly in love with you, the loveliest and most noble elven lass on all of the planet? Can you truly love even me, Mr. Bolas? Even a worrywart girl who lived for so long in fear and confusion, whose hands are so stained with sin and blood as my own? I have for a long time, lass, and maybe, beginning with us two, a lot more elves and dwarves in the world will learn to love each other in such a way. Yes, Tessera, I will come with you to your world. My new home will be with you, among your people, the Itsuki elves. Tessera happily says, "Thank you, Bolas. Let's change the entire world as we know it forever with the power of our love." Okay, we got an artisan making a portrait of, Jersey. For certain, this is Jersey. Although, I'm pretty sure Jersey does not have red hair. Might be taking inspiration from the early days of Princess Tolstol. And yes, I know in actuality, RPG Maker 1 does not provide a version of that picture with yellow hair instead of red. Let me have my jokes. Would you tilt your chin a little farther to the left, Princess Gwendolyn? Okay, that's a twist. Like this, sir? Yes, perfect, Princess. They will not be able to take their eyes off of you when they pass by your finished portrait in the palace hall. Jersey humbly says, "Thank you." The artisan continues to paint. So, how are you adapting to the life of royalty as the new princess of the holy city of Naraka? It was quite a shock to me hear the good king and queen's offer to adopt me as their daughter in the late princess's place. But I am very happy to have a mother and father again, of sorts. They love you as if you truly were their very own, princess. And the people look up to you for the deeds that you have accomplished in spite of the frailties and weakness that you see in yourself. You are a hero to them because you never let any failure keep you down, and the knights say that you are braver than even the 600 of them put together. It is as if you were Princess Rachel's long-lost twin sister all along. You belong in the Foxloon family, princess. I, too, feel as though I have been given a second chance at having a mother and father to raise me. Short giggle. They are even already beginning to worry for me like true parents. It took a long time to convince them to allow me to return to Alcavale and help the poor souls of that little town get their lives back in order. The artisan muses as he paints. Her Highness's first royal act as the new princess of the Foxloon family. William says with a forlorn sigh, "So, you really will be leaving us, lassie? You are as much a part of the Leviathan fleet as anyone else here is. I cannot help but feel that a part of its very soul, is leaving with you." Paprika tries to hold back her tears. "Yes, Sir Admiral, I am. I certainly do not do this out of any selfish prerogatives of mine. But my home, the land where Serena placed us as the first living creatures to walk this world, the Paprika Kingdom, is..." "I know. You must do what you can with your sisters to restore the barren land to the lush paradise it once was. With magic returning to the world now that the Lord of Darkness is gone, I am confident that you and the rest of your esteemed kind will be able to achieve just so grandiose a purpose as the permanent alteration of Paprika's environment. I bid you Godspeed in your noble purposes, me little Paprika. No man of the sea could ever have asked for a spunkier, more loyal, and charming lady companion to accompany him through his gruff journey of years across the watery corners of this blue world. You have my thanks, me one and only lassie of the lake. Paprika smiles. And I could not have asked for a better and kinder master to look after a lonely old creature of the magical race like myself all this time. These 20 or so years I have been a member of the descendants of Leviathan may as well have turned into the numerous centuries I have lived. You have my thanks as well. Nor could I have asked for greater friends than they. Inigo Newell says, Farewell, Paprika. We will miss you, but we know you have a greater calling to make a dark and desolate part of Elvenia beautiful again. We promise to come visit you in Corinth sometime. I shall look forward to it. Rain Mirabelle says, Fly on now, Paprika Felice. Your sisters in Corinth are waiting for you. With a nod and a wave, Paprika slowly ascends toward the skies. Paprika cheerfully says, Goodbye, everyone! William watches with a sad smile. Farewell, lassie of mine. Dusk sadly says, Well, here we are. Little one, why do you seem so melancholy? Do you still doubt? Smile? In just mere moments, your story shall end in the happiness you have desired ever since you first gazed into her eyes, when the Kalinkan princess comes running into your arms as fast as you will into hers. Surely you do not doubt she will? No, it isn't that, Miss Aries. Well, it's just that... What am I to do in this life without you all of a sudden? You were at my side all of this time, and even coming home to Sarah at last, I feel as though I have suddenly lost all confidence. Little one, you no longer have need of me. It is Sarah who needs you now. Aries brushes away a small tear. Go on now, and do not look back in hesitation for another second. Dusk's eyes rekindle their determined fire again. Then farewell, Miss Aries. In spite of all the danger and horror that we have been through together, it has, been a memorable journey for us both, together as revered goddess and her servant. Aries smiles. Don't you mean as guardian angel and our precious charge? Dusk smiles back. Actually, I think I meant it as friend and friend. Ah. Aries says with a hug. It looked more like a kiss. Goodbye to you, my friend. Though I can no longer stay at your side always, just call on me whenever you have need of me, and I, the Sapphire Solus Emzu Angel of Nobility, shall come flying to your side. With a final bow, Dusk turns and leaves. Aries says through her tears, Yes, he will be okay. Sarah is sleeping soundly. Unknown sound? Sure. Pit-pat, pit-pat. Oh gee, I have no idea what that could be. Sarah's ears lightly perk up in her sleep. Her ears can do that? The unknown sound now more loudly pit-pats and pit-pats. Sarah stirs and slowly opens her eyes. Yawn. The unknown sound is now very close. You're doing it wrong. If you're gonna be loud about it, here's how you do it. A visitor? Who could it be at this time of night? Wait. It wasn't Dusk knocking at the door? Dusk is tired from running. Huff. Pant. Sarah. Sarah is shocked. Mr. Dusk? Dusk is stammering. Sarah, I'm home. Probably not the best reaction he was hoping for. Oh, there we go. Sarah says with her brightest smile, "Welcome home." Is that Gorgon? Okay, that's kind of nice. Jeremy says with a coy smile, "So, Mr. Ghidra, how does it feel here in the heavens amongst us angels for once? To think that, I, a demi-human who once proudly called himself the Slayer of Angels, a place here amongst my newly adopted sisters and mother, the soulless Enzu angels and Serena herself, would feel right at home." Okay, may I give one little critique about the writing? SK does this a lot. Interrupt the sentence with hyphens. That makes it really hard to keep track of what was being said at times. As a suggestion, maybe if it was like after, blah blah blah, I would feel right at home here. Among the soulless angels and Serena herself, something like that. Oh, Michiru's got her sight back. Awesome. You will get used to it eventually, my dear brother. Not literal brother, but that sort of the honorable brother. Smile. Mother, I bring to you a new gift, bearing the immortal hearts of your 4 beloved daughters and your 1 now redeemed son. Please accept it in acknowledgement of our deepest love for you, who has always cared for us and never failed to protect us from the darkness of the abyss. Priam bows. We love you, Mother. Serena says with a gracious gesture of acceptance, I accept, my dear children. You shall always be mine, and nothing will ever take any of you away from me. Serena's wings outstretched in delight, covering all of Elvenia in her radiance. Yeah, hopefully this place will brighten up soon. It's still a little bit dark in the sides there, I see. Gorgon is awestruck. Indeed, Sister Tremes, the light is most beautiful. Actually, it would have been a nice touch to white out. Oh, there we go. Another morning, another school day. Yeah, Still feels out of place, back to our normal routine. Hard to believe it has already been a month since we came back to our own world. Or perhaps not so normal. Unlike our days here before coming to Elvenia, we're now in trouble with our families who have been worried sick about us. We're all way behind on our schoolwork, and yours and Uri's landlords are both seriously pissed that you haven't paid your rent in nearly 4 months. Lucky you were not kicked out of either of your homes when you came back. Yeah, well, we can fix all of those particular problems with time. At least pretty much everyone by now believes our story about our being in Elvenia all this time. Otherwise, we'd also probably be in jail right now. Wait, what? Why? Wait, what? Why? Because you haven't paid rent? But now, Elvenian gospel is getting preached all over the country, Billy Graham style. Well, I'm in this way. You two have fun studying whatever it is you do all day at SAU. Yeah. See you at our place on next week's hangout night. Greetings, human children. Hey, Michiru! Everyone! What brings you here? I thought that with the Path of Eden now sealed, we'd never be able to see you here on Earth. Did you not surmise? Our hearts were made whole again now that Zenobia is banished, upon which Mother was able to restore the brooch, and immortals are not hindered from travel across the stars. Out of curiosity, would that mean that Paprika could come here? Although, it may certainly be a while before all of Earth can accept the presence of angels here. Presences. Well, we're glad you all decided to pay us a visit, but what made you decide to come see us? Ares presents a long scroll. Here, this letter is from all of the Elvenian people. It seems they wish to make amends for not being able to say goodbye to you three in person. The path of Eden closed. That is awkwardly worded somehow. Really? Great! What does it say? To our brave and selfless friends of Elvenia's world, though a vast expanse of ether and stars separate us now once more, the names of Uri Isley, Lynn Cadence, and Harrison Cole shall leave neither our memories nor the annals of legend passed down from generation to generation of Elvenia. We can never thank you enough, even from the darkest depths of our very hearts, for your having held not the power but the courage and unshakable hope in all that is good, to fight what we ourselves could do not but quail and tremble in fear of. The Lord of Darkness lived for his sole hatred of us, and possessed a terrifying darkness we Elvenians could scarcely fathom even in the wake of our nightmares. And thus, most importantly, we can never be grateful for your having stood in faith while our hopes and beliefs were failing miserably. You heroes of light were able to rekindle such a fire in our hearts once again to stand with you at the critical moment of Elvenia's decided fate. All of us together, Elvenia and Earthing and Elvenian, veiled and protected in the brilliant shadow of the love of the Divine Mother, who indeed had never departed from us. Take care, brother children of Serena, and may the rest of your world waste not another day in awakening and opening its eyes to the majesty of that very light that you now harbor. You will be treasured in the memories of every living creature of Elvenia forever and ever, to the end of the galaxy's existence itself. Hopefully it is a long time before that happens. With love, Sam Allegra, Pinaka Allegra, who did not die in this ending, Dr. Sarah Allegra, William Felgold, Bullis Rune, Paprika Felice, Gwendolyn Jersey Foxloon, still a fun name, Hotaru Rowan Foxloon, Lorana Etashera Foxloon, The Departed Lyle and Lisa Emily Winters, apparently, The Departed Warren and Millie Kieran Milzas, Forest Maidens Ahana, Kikoli Alanda, and The Departed Shaylene. Well, I mean, these are angels. They could probably get the signatures of the dead people. Alinea Haprahan, Raina Fort, Lafayette Nineveh, Sylvan Trape, Fauna Rosereed, Iris Chandler, Helenia Shadows, Gabrielle Lorehaven, Fax Iris Gillis Maylin, and Tiramisu Paladon, who are all racists. Malachi Shalaforge, Remy Talhammer, Marla Argent, Rebecca Anise, and Ushiru Albrecht, the surviving Leviathan Fleet, and William Dusk and Sarah Nicole Winters. That is an interesting way of having a cast listing in a game. Arc Arath by Eleni Productions, created by Lantis, who did the programming, and Sarah's Knight the writing, with help from Adam Rickman, Caleb Baumgardner, Bobby Young, Mark Sokup, Walter Stoff, the whole RPG. Oh, we're getting some members on the internet as well. Jeremy Rose, Erica. This game is a few years old. Ixion, and many more Megonians over these many years. Special thanks to Lamar Wells, Niani, Rachel Ates, Rena Chan has created the trailer. Voice actress for the trailer was Daniel Yunt, and also the song creator. And you, the player. Thank you for experiencing the world and story of Arc Arath. We hope you enjoy the journey. As a matter of fact, I did. Please save clear data. Use another slot if you wish to load previous save. I'll go ahead and save it because they're asking me to, but otherwise I see no reason to save. Because we're pretty much done. Return to main menu. Please insert intro. Which card was intro? Oh yeah, I remember which card was intro. Well, I kinda have to go to that memory card anyway. It's the art card. And in just a bit here, I'm gonna check out the art in the game. But before we do that, I have to review this game, because I have a lot to say. Like I said, I enjoyed this game. It is pretty good. And I will go into details of why it is pretty good as soon as we get started with the credits. Okay, so, like I said, this game is pretty good. Though, of course, it is not without its flaws. We already talked about the glitches earlier. They don't need to be talked about again. The glitches, for the most part, could not be helped in some situations. So let's move on to other stuff. Let's start with the dialogue in the game. I do not mind how much there is. I know this game is kind of notorious for how long the cutscenes are. I do not mind long cutscenes. I mean, my favorite RPG Maker game thus far is The Spiteful Dead, and that had a ton of dialogue. My issue with the dialogue in this game is more how long-winded it is, to the point it actually becomes hard to read sometimes. That said, the story was interesting. I know I made some jokes at it from time to time, but I was definitely invested in the story. I wanted to see what happens next, and as far as jokes go, the jokes in the game itself definitely got some genuine laughs out of me. That said, considering how long the cutscenes are, it would have been nice to have more opportunities to save during them, especially after boss fights. And also, during the battle for Naraka, would have been nice to have a chance to save during that. By the way, Battle for Naraka is definitely my favorite moment in the game, one of my favorite parts. It was a very cool event, even despite RPG Maker 1's limitations. Let's see, dungeon design was good for the most part. I liked some of the puzzles. Some of them. Some puzzles sucked. Namely, puzzles that basically required the guide to get through. Like the maze in Paprika Desert, and the matching puzzle in Ebony Golf. Oh, actually, the matching puzzle in Ebony Golf didn't even have the answer in the guide. You basically had to figure it out yourself. All the while, you're stepping on spikes, pretty much guaranteed to take damage trying to figure out how to mesh those tiles. So yeah, that kind of sucked. The worst puzzle was definitely the puzzle in the fire maze with the invisible pits. I mean, thankfully the guide did have the answer for that, but if you're like me and prefer not to use the guide, that puzzle was extremely punishing, sending you down into a pit of lava and having to have you fight your way back up while crossing a poisonous maze that, honestly, I could never figure out. For the most part, though, the puzzles in the game were fine. It's just a few stinkers in the game. I'm actually impressed with how many puzzles there were in this game, considering, you know, this is RPG Maker 1, using memory cards, and all the cutscenes in the game ate up those memory cards in a hurry. I would have expected the dungeons to be a lot emptier. Actually, in regards to memory limitations, that is why this game uses random encounters instead of encounters on the map, because putting encounters on the map would have eaten a whole lot more memory than it already did. At the very least, the game did provide a cheap item which we could use to repel encounters, and it was very useful. As far as battle balancing goes, the game was balanced pretty well. It was definitely on the difficult side for, like, if you're a less experienced player. I managed fine, but it was still kind of challenging at times. I really had to pay attention to what I'm doing. It was not a cakewalk at all. Admittedly, Paprika's paralysis and Tessera's petrification are a bit overpowered, but I am perfectly okay with that. And the last thing to bring up is the custom artwork. RPG Maker 1 has a tiny limit for custom art, but what art there was nice. The affinity fragments, the mingled final boss, McCracken, and even little random things such as keys. The only bummer is that Dusk didn't get to keep his feather in his hair. It was kind of distracting when the game constantly mentioned him having a feather in his hair and there wasn't. Overall though, yes, I definitely enjoyed the game. It was worth playing. Once again, if anybody is interested in playing it themselves, I have a link right here that I am throwing in the chat, and those of you watching this at YouTube, a link will be in the description. That said, hopefully I don't ever play another game this long again, or at least not stream another game this long. This is by far the longest Let's Play I've ever done, and it's an RPG Maker game of all things, on the first PlayStation. Anyway, we have one more thing I want to show off. It's going to be a little thing, a little bit of bonus content, because speaking of art, I want to check out the sprite sheets for this game, because RPG Maker 1 has a hard limit of 9 custom sprites for your game. That does not include titles and monsters, those are separate. I believe you're allowed 1 title and, no, I think like 10, 12, 13, somewhere around there. monsters, it's interesting that for monsters they allow more, considering monster sprite sheets can be bigger. Out of curiosity, let's actually go ahead and take a look at the custom monsters. How many were there in this game? Let's load up memory card 2. There were 4 of them in this game. We had Grap. Let's finally find out what Grap is. Ah, yeah, Grapple McCracken. His tentacles for whenever he's poking out of the cave entrance. That was definitely a neat idea. Next up, we have Johu. Who is Johu? That would be the beat-up Dark Lord for the final battle, when he's all bloodied and broken and missing his hand. Speaking of which, I'm betting that one of these next sprites, perhaps Thrax. No, it won't be Thrax, it'll be Blurg. But Thrax... What is Thrax, actually? Oh, I know what it is. It's that Secret of Evermore boss. So, hi Thrax! Man, that is so weird that they took the monster from the box art of Secret of Evermore and made it into a boss. That was an interesting boss fight, by the way it was set up, because he was kind of looming over the top of the pyramid. And of course, Blurg is going to be the dismembered hand. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that it was dripping blood. And of course, there's only the one title screen, and that being the elemental chart for this game. I gotta apologize for not really making note of the elemental strengths and weakness. I went like almost the entire game just trying to do it by memory, and well, I never actually properly remembered. You think it would be simple. Water beats fire, fire beats lightning, and lightning beats water. Actually, it's the whole fire beats lightning thing that always throws me off. Because, you know, how? But they needed 3 elements. RPG Maker 1 only allows 3 elements. If it were me, it'd be fire melts ice, ice freezes water, and water puts out fire. But admittedly, having 2 water elements basically would be redundant. I'm honestly not sure if anything better could have been done than lightning. I suppose part of it is also not just being confused at the whole fire versus lightning thing, but also determining basically like, okay, so lightning is super weak against lightning, but it is also weak against fire. So if I'm using lightning and it causes half damage, does that mean it's lightning or fire that the enemy is? So yeah, it would have been really good idea to actually make note of weaknesses. Probably would have helped a whole lot. I don't know why it took me until the end of the game to figure that out. Strikeback says, I'd have gone with Pokemon's trio. Earth absorbs water, douses fire, burns earth. Perhaps. There's definitely some earth sprites. Though I also feel like earth would put out fire, like cover it up with dirt or that sort of thing, so maybe not. And you can't do grass because RPG Maker 1 does not have any battle animations that are grass. Okay, who's Brad? Oh, that's right, that's Uri. As if I knew that was going to be the case. I was actually thinking it might be Dusk, but no, it's Uri. Of course it is. Here's the reason why it's Uri. It's because this sprite normally has pointy elf ears, and Mantis was like, well, he's supposed to be human, let's not have him have elf ears. I blame Brad for Dusk not having any feather in his ear. Hold on a sec. Okay, so only 4 sprites? There could have totally been another sprite for Dusk. Granted, that would only leave 1 slot for saving your game, but... Huh. I guess they really wanted that second save slot to be available for the player. So what is item 1? Ah, yeah, this is where things get interesting. So, because of the sprite limitations, Lantis and SK decided to use single sprite sheets for multiple items. During New Game Plus, whenever I was collecting an affinity fragment, I noticed that it suddenly changed into Serena's earring. And there's a reason for that. Basically, this row right here is for sprites facing down, this row right here is for sprites facing to the left, and this row right here is for sprites facing up. So, one particular affinity fragment I walked up to, and I interacted it from the side, which means it was facing to the side using this sprite. And for graphics such as these that are in the corner, what Lantis and SK would have to do is, since by default it's using the middle column, Lantis and SK had the sprite step to make it change phases before making it visible, so that we would see the L and E logo before, or rather, instead of the J House logo. It's an interesting trick to get around sprite limitations in RPG Maker 1. And I'm betting the remaining ones are doing the exact same thing. Item 2? Let's see here. ESB reading the 4 shields that we needed to acquire in order to get into the final dungeon. Arrows from the battle for Naraka. No, I forget what it was. I recognize it, but I can't remember at what point it was. It's not the brooch. The brooch is a sprite that RPG Maker 1 actually provides. And then there's also a couple of keys. This key right here, or this key, one of these keys was to get into Lisa's tomb. Not the sanctuary place, but the tomb in Itsuki, where all the elves were buried, and we found the book note prophecy from Lisa. And I forget where the other key came into play. And lastly, the heck is Jarg? A bunch of other things. A feather. Oh, wow. I forgot that this was a sprite. Was it a sprite? Shoot, I've already forgot if this sprite was used. Oh, here's those annoying spikes from the puzzle. The matching puzzle, that's there. This is the cursor for when you're switching party members. I forget what this is. Maybe this is related to slicing the Dark Lord in half. This is part of the entrance whenever the characters warp into the warp area. And of course we got the airship. Once again, I need to mention that although RPG Maker 1 has an airship sprite for use on the world map, it does not allow you to use that sprite anywhere else. You can't even load it into Anime Maker, this editor we're looking at. So this sprite actually had to be recreated in the editor. Probably by opening an emulator and like studying it up close, zooming in, something like that. Interestingly, they had a slot left over. I wonder what we could have done here. Anyway, we are done. Oh my goodness, we're done. We're done with Arath. How many months did this take? More than a few, that is for certain. Like I said, this is the longest playthrough I've done so far. But it's been worth it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.